Saylor, Bitcoin, Ponzi's, leverage, yield, all of that coming your way and more, baby dolls. Today, we're going to speak about Saylor's stablecoin. He actually released a stablecoin. I've reported this to you in my tweets, in my Telegram posts over time. This is my official video on it. I just want to tell you something, okay, friends? Before we even start with these, remember, okay, there's two sides usually in bull markets like this, right? There's the people who are long and the people who are fading it. They're outside, okay? There's two sides. But there's this critical part in the middle, which is, I guess you'd call the elite. The elite, the winners. What do the winners do? The winners, that is very, very hard to get this perfect, okay? But you do your best. The winners, they never drink the Kool-Aid, okay? They ride the momentum. They buy the depression. They wait for the pessimists to sell everything, which is what we do in a bear market. Then they wait for the optimists to eventually arrive, and they start unloading. They don't listen to the news. They don't listen to the N-word narrative, blah, 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 blah. They don't care about that. They protect themselves. That's perfect. Now, it's a bit of a catch-22 because to hold and believe so long, right, it's very hard for you to absorb all the information and go, you know what? It's actually all fugazi. It's really hard. Why? Because markets always test you. Capitulation, dropping, taking longer than expected. Like you really got to believe. Okay? And they go so low, you're forced to believe. But then eventually you got to let go of your bags. Like that dove that flies away. Okay? Now we're going to speak about Saylor's stablecoin and why I'm actually talking to you about this. So here's Saylor, pew, 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 laser eyes, cybernetic hornet's nest. He has made different Ponzi yield products, okay, like STRD, Stride, STRK, Strike. But there's one he's made called Stretch. Yeah, STRC. Now, it's called Stretch. Why? Because they've stretched out the duration of when these things are payable, like 1,000 years or something. They've stretched it out, and it's going to be, it's $100 pegged, and when it goes up or below the $100, if it goes up, they dilute shares. It's kind of easy, right? Oh, no, the stablecoin, there's so much demand for it. I'll just mint more, okay? But then if it goes down, what they end up doing is I think they end up using part of the Bitcoin yield that they accumulate to pay off people in the yield. Now, when it comes to every bull market, what we've got to do is play some Pokemon Journey music and spin our helicopter hat. It always ends up the same way, friends. You and me against the world. We just got our trusty Game Boys, of course. It ends up, or they all go the same way, okay? You recover off a bear, you go up, and with each successive dip buy, the crowd roars with strength. They love seeing strength. And then eventually what happens is, it happens to everyone, friends, okay? When the thing goes up, they go, well, now it can't go down. Yeah? And it really can't go down. Okay. Now, I'm saying for you in a crude way, but it's actually true. You know it's true. Okay. If you step outside of the picture from every single coin and asset, I don't care if it's a stock, I don't care what it is. It's the same thing every time. People do these leverage. Why? They can't go down. Or if it goes down, it's just going down a little bit. And we know from booms and busts, nothing goes down a little bit, bro. It wipes them all out. Okay. But still, that's what happens. When you're a mid-curver, be careful, man. Because like, unless you are literally 300 IQ, you're going to think you're better than what you actually are, and you're caught in the bell of the middle. That's why being a peanut brain, friends, I've got not just a low IQ, mine's pretty much negative at this point, okay? Just do not drink the Kool-Aid at the top. That's all I'm saying. Now, MicroStrategy have released their own Ponzi stablecoin called STRC. You got to remember, friends, so remember Saylor, he goes on stage last year, and he literally makes a presentation. Okay, do you remember, friends? Bitcoin to 13 million. He goes on stage and he literally, I think this is it. If I just show you. It's kind of funny. Here he is, even on Ty Lopez's podcast.
Bitcoin. Every Bitcoin you sell is going to cost you $13 million.
So he went on stage. Remember, he went on stage last year. He goes, yeah, Bitcoin's gone to 13 million. And no one batted an eyelid because just Bitcoin dominance have been going up forever since then. And it's still, just like, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. You got to understand. Look, this is why, man, don't confuse brains for a bull market, bro. Everything goes up. You'll see. You'll see. Look, this is where it's starting to get dangerous, though. He's released a Ponzi stablecoin Stretch. It's pegged to $100, and it gives you 9% yield forever. And automatically, I'm like, bro, okay. Did we not learn from your friend Tommy videos years ago? If you promise any yield on top of whatever the US government is giving, you're in a world of hurt, brother. Something's going to go wrong somewhere. And you know what, friends? Guess what? We have a 100% failure rate of things that promise a yield above the US risk-free rate, which is the US government bond. We have literally 100% failure rate. We have no survivors on a long enough time frame. Something goes wrong somewhere, okay? The only thing you can be guaranteed is that whoever's the world reserve currency, they're going to print and they're going to give out that yield, okay? Anything above that is not a guarantee. So that's why when I saw, don't worry, we're going to give you 9%, I'm like, what? Now they make, this is the thing, friends. Look, trust me, man. Friend, I know. I want Bitcoin to go to $1 million. I want us to crack on with the high growth rates. I'm just telling you, man, the universe, before it can reach those targets, it keeps knocking these people off the cliff. It does, okay? So, does this sound familiar if you were around in 2022 to something? Yes, friends. Do you remember Do Kwon Terra Luna Anchor? It's exactly what happened. See this? Remember Luna, friends? Anchor was giving like 19% yield. Yeah, they'll give you 19%. And what they tried to do at the end was taper the Ponzi. Now, obviously, you're looking at it in hindsight, like, oh no, of course it went to zero and it depegged. Yeah, but that's at the end of the bull, man. No one had any idea that was going to happen at that time. And by the way, we all knew eventually, hey man, this is unsustainable. Yeah, but I want to show you something as well, man. Friends, do you understand? Do you understand how much of a silly willy you looked? And by the way, I made a full video on this last year, okay? There was a dude, friends, from Ethereum community. Someone here, I think Luna was $30. And he made a long thread. He goes, warning to everybody in Luna. This is how your thing can go to zero. And he showed the something depegs and that amount of money has to print and this goes down. He actually foreshadowed it. He said it's going to happen. Here was the problem. He did it at $30. So literally, friends, imagine you're saying it's going to depeg and it has these spike downs of 50%, but it didn't. It actually went up and broke the high. Imagine here you are saying, warning, warning, this is a Ponzi, and then it goes at $30. Now it's at 46. You're like, oh yeah, nice Ponzi, brother. And then imagine what he felt like at $60. Imagine what he felt like at $90 and then $100. It's just, see what I mean, friends? And by the way, even when the Ponzi starts unraveling, it's still $60 here. You know what I mean? It just took this death candle that eventually came at the end and it's all too late. So who survives in this stuff? It's the people who literally say, I will stay fully away. Okay? You survive in that. But you might miss out on every opportunity too. Okay? Because Luna went up 1,000x first. Now, I'm not saying to go touch this MicroStrategy Ponzi stuff, but I'm just showing you how if you're a Bitcoiner, and they don't touch altcoins. Yeah, they don't want to touch Ethereum or altcoins. So this is their altcoins for Bitcoin people. But they do not dare describe it like that. But I'm telling you that's exactly what it is, okay? So remember Stretch, right? It gives you a 9% yield forever. It's pegged to $100. And that's exactly what Terra Luna did. They give you 19%. And they go, cool, you know, we'll give you 19%. And they're going to try to taper it off at the end. And you don't know what happens next. Of course, it's different for MicroStrategy, right? Why? Because they say we're over-collateralized with Bitcoin and stuff. But therein lies the problem. You're over-collateralized today, number one, okay? Because Bitcoin's going up in all our mind. You can't see the future, number one. Number two, there's all these risks I'm going to show you, which pretty much everybody's discounting with zero. But even then, friends, even then, I know there's going to be a risk. That's not actually the real risk. The real risk is they have no off button, okay? If you know Michael Saylor, friends, I heard what he actually said this. He says, we are going to every single corner of the fixed income market. He goes, we're going for everything. Now, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh crap. You're going to make a product to account for every single bit of dollary doonies sitting out there in the world with a company policy. And you're going to make a product that does whatever they need just to grab their money in. You want yield? I give it to you, give it to you, give it to you. So eventually what you have to see what's happening is there's all these people around the world. What they're doing is they have fixed income stuff, debt. And you're meant to be pretty safe. That's why you get a fixed yield. You don't get the upside of the equity, yeah? So what he's done is he's like, hey, I'm going to give you a debt yield, but it's going to rely on the Bitcoin price. Okay, but they don't say it like that, but technically that's what it is. Okay, you're relying on the Bitcoin price bid. And like, you're trying to take debt, safe return money, and you're trying to link it to literally the world's most volatile and riskiest asset. Okay, now, thing in their mind, it ain't the most volatile and risk. They're like, oh no, this is amazing. Because why? Because it just goes up only of the past. And once again, friends, therein lies the problem. Let's play some more Pikachu music as we continue our journey. Catching you with my Pokeball every single day. Got you. As you can see, everything I tell you, if you just basically, if their portfolios could be charted in monthly candles, they're on like a big 3-month green monthly candle or a 12-month monthly candle. You see that confidence up here, right? Now I'm going to show you these risks, friends. These risks, we're going to go through them. I asked Grok. I'm like, Grok, tell me everything about STRC and tell me about its risks. And I was like, oh my gosh. I read through these. I'm like, okay, this is stock standard stuff. You're probably curious as well. So, Somi, how does it actually work? I've written it here, right? So look, what they do is, look at this. It's a low volatility, high yield security pegged to $100. Okay. So the key mechanics, they have a peg and stability. I know we will talk about PDI and peg stuff, right? So they say the shares are structured to maintain $100 value. Okay. And it's going to pay you 9% yield paid out every month. So investors receive dividends tokenized or paid out, backed indirectly by the appreciation of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin reserves. This creates asymmetry, downside protection via the peg and repurchase options, with upside tied to Bitcoin's performance. Okay, and it says here you can convert and redeem. Look at this. It's funny. Grok even says comparison. It's often likened to a weaponized balance sheet instrument, blending elements of convertible notes and perpetual bonds, or even high-yield products like Anchor Protocol on Terra, but with Bitcoin backing instead of the algorithmic stability. So what it does is it's meant to give people access to Bitcoin performance in the form of a yield without having all that price risk, because it's meant to be at $100, right? Look, I'm just looking at it like, oh, we're going to go through this all over again, which is good. Okay, it's good. No one's woken up to it yet, which is awesome. Okay. Look at these risks, by the way. Okay. Number one, you got Bitcoin market risk. Bitcoin. It's always this risk. You're like, wait a minute. The thing that you rely on going up forever, what happens if it stops going up forever? Okay. That's what it is. That literally comes down to that. Every boom, every bust, every gold miner, silver miner, every tech bubble, everything comes down to that. What if the thing that you need to keep going up forever starts going down forever? I'm not joking, man. Every single time, okay? That's why, friends, I'm quite confident in the next bear market. Altcoins will hold up way better than you think. Yeah? No one's over leveraging altcoins, dude. Do you know how shit scared we are? We are so scared. Dude, we had a 4.5 bear market. No one wants to take leverage in altcoins, dude. Do you? You're scared of missing the top by like 5 days. I know, because we all say the same thing. We're like, bro, if I have to hold another 4 years, just literally end me now. That's what we say. Bitcoin people aren't like that. They're like, don't worry, we're going to keep going up forever. Who do you think's the strong and weak hands here? It's us. We're the paranoid ones. No one's paranoid in Bitcoin. They say, oh, don't worry, the US government's going to keep printing money forever, and we're going to keep sucking up the currency units. Like, so look, Bitcoin market risk. Stretch value and its yield depends on MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings. If Bitcoin enters a long bear market next cycle, it might put pressure on them to sell some BTC. So it's kind of funny. They write these words. They're like, oh, don't worry. Technically, if you sign on the dotted line, you can't sell the BTC. I'm like, bro, that's a bunch of bullshit. You all know it's a bunch of bullcrap, okay? If there's people involved, they can bend the rules, brother. They can always bend the rules, okay? They can write it out. They can say, oh, no, technically fiduciary responsibility was broken here, okay? So we all know that's a bunch of fugazi. Number 2, corporate risk. You need MicroStrategy to play this perfectly and never over-leverage. I wouldn't take that bet with anyone in crypto involving leverage. So, yeah, man, I would not. That's the fence. They literally said, we're going to pay you 9% forever. Forever, bro? You sure? Like, you can't stop ever? Nah, man. You know this. You know how this is ending. We all know how it's ending. Okay, but that's good, man. They're drunk off euphoria and confidence. By the way, you want to know what started all this, friends? This is what started it, Habib. It's 4 years of up-only Bitcoin dominance. That's what started this. It's literally, they go, oh, we're gaining forever. So it's kind of this. Look, ultimately, I'm going to tell you conceptually what's happened. Then they don't want to touch altcoins. They think they're all worth zero. So what they do is they make Ponzi products around Bitcoin. That's what they've done. And here I am sitting, okay, bro, the market doesn't care if you're an institution or not. Altcoins are cheap. Altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin, okay? Just because you don't like them doesn't mean they're not cheap, okay? And just because you think you're smart doesn't mean that you're not taking excessive risk by doing all this complex Ponzi yield leverage and trying to wrap poop, dog poop around cat poop, which is dunked in camel poop, and you're trying to put it on the NASDAQ, okay? But right now, the prices aren't high enough to scare everyone, okay? Scare everybody who's a contrarian, of course. Look at this. There's also dilution risk. So here's the thing, friends. MicroStrategy, they have no off button. That's all you need to know, bro. You got no off button. It's kind of like, okay, do you want to sit in the back seat of a car of a driver who has no off button when it comes to drinking alcohol? Yeah? Do you want to sit in the back seat every night? You're like, hey, you're taking me home. Yeah, but they don't have an off button when it comes to drinking alcohol. So you have to hope that they didn't drink too much that night. Do you really want to sit in the back seat of that? No. Maybe you make it home a few times. But one time, it's going to get you. Okay? So they will keep relentlessly releasing Ponzi shares and vehicles to eventually overextend themselves in a bull. So they have no off button, man. They have no off button. And you know what's worse? They got away with danger in 2021. They got away with the murder. You get it? That's what makes this even more dangerous, because they did not get punished in the last cycle. They don't see it as a Hail Mary. They think of, oh, yeah, it was always going to happen. Okay? They can keep diluting existing holders and their yield. And remember, the whole Ponzi collapses when you try to taper down the yield. Now, of course, friends, I'm using the word Ponzi as a joke. A real Ponzi is money goes in, you don't know how the money gets made and profits, and it just appears somewhere else. But you're using one person to kind of pay another one. That's technically what a real Ponzi is. But like, really, at the end of the day, when this thing collapses, what do you think they're going to write? Ponzi down. Okay? Because then you ask investors, oh, I didn't know that I needed Bitcoin to like keep going up forever for this to work out. I read the rules, you know what I mean? So it'll all come down to that, okay? Terra Luna Anchor tried to taper the yield down from 19% down to 17% over time slowly, but it created huge cracks in Luna UST. So that's actually what happened at the end, you know that? The yield was 19. I think they tried to toggle it down to 17. And when they did, there was a whack. I'm actually going to show it to you. Now, unfortunately, friends, it's hard to get the data. I've been looking all over here for you, but there were these moments. This is Terra Classic UST. It's like the full chart. There were these moments leading into the tapering of the Ponzi where I think they tried to taper it and then it drops and it depegs like 1%. What happens, right? They try to taper the Ponzi and everyone just goes, bang, 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 just give me, they're tapering the Ponzi. See, this is look, markets, they're punishing, but there are always clues. There are always clues. So this thing, they try to taper it, it goes down, and then some ways it just comes back up. But this is the thing, man. Like, you just don't know, right? Are you just cheating out? You don't know, right? Because one of the days, bang, it just keeps going down. It's all over. You see that? Here's a DPEG. By the way, Mr. Foolsy, friends, Mr. Foolsy. Remember, I made a Terra Luna Classic, I think, like a week or a month ago. A video. Mr. Foolsy, he was holding his UST, and it went to $1, went down here, and he got back out at like 70 cents. So when Do Kwon was trying to repeg it, he took his loss. He put 20 grand in, went down as pretty much like, 5 or 10 was going to lose it all, came back to 16, he got out. And that was the lower high. And then it actually continued down to 0, right? So I also want to show you these other risks as well. You got interest rate risk. So I know this seems unlikely, but the market is full of unlikely things, okay? Your risk as well, if the US Fed puts interest rates up, you start to get clobbered hard because they make it more competitive because they're handing out the money printer. Okay, that's a risk-free rate. It makes all these assets get crushed. By the way, as the US Fed puts up rates, okay, Bitcoin gets crushed even harder. Eventually, it doesn't stay down forever because remember, this is the thing, friends. When they put up rates, Bitcoin reacts first. So they crush Bitcoin first. Yes, it does kill the economy, but it takes like 12 months to seep in. All right? You got to remember that. There's a delay effect. So when they put up rates, Bitcoin hyper crashes straight away. We react first. Then as the economy weakens, they go, oh, we're going to put up, we got to print money and do that, the global money printer stuff again, okay? But they kill people in Bitcoin and crypto first. There's a delay, okay? They get you down first. So that might be a clue if they want to shake out all the non-believers or people who just bought the top of the BlackRock ETF. Okay? I'm just telling you, I'm not saying I don't know if this is going to happen. I'm just telling you, look at all these cracks that could happen. Regulatory risk. Now, I personally see this as low. It's like but here's the thing. If MicroStrategy makes one mistake, I believe the regulation will be way worse next cycle. Way worse, man. I bet the US government's going to be like, okay, under the new SEC laws, if you have any debt market, they're going to write rules. You're not allowed to do Ponzi shit with Bitcoin or the crypto industry. Okay? Or they're going to have some sort of rules like your leverage ratio can never go above a certain amount. And yeah. But the thing is, this is why, friends, this is why it's beautiful for you and me. That's why we're going to make a lot of money because there are no rules yet. Yeah. There's sample size of 0 here. Okay. I'm predicting, that's why, friends, if this works out, I'm predicting this is going to go well and it's not going to last forever. Then it's going to collapse. And then in the next cycle, I can already tell you, people are not going to buy the bear market lows because they're going to say, oh, no, they're changing the laws. You're not going to be able to do the MicroStrategy Ponzi stuff again. So people are going to FUD themselves out of buying again, all over again, right? It's wonderful when you can see this. That's why I'm here 18 hours a day and I'm spinning my helicopter hat, okay? Liquidity and rotation risk. Now, this might be the key, friends. So in 2021, Grayscale GBTC, it was at a plus 25% premium. And then what ended up happening is as the bull market, see on the right-hand side here, as the bull market started for altcoins, this thing goes negative. So it was plus 25%, then it hits 0, then it trades negative discount. And everybody thought it's really cheap, it's really cheap, it's really cheap. But actually what was happening is they were buying the tail end of the Bitcoin money liquidity rotation and everybody was selling into it, chasing altcoins. Okay, so if you were to really look at the liquidity rotation, Bitcoin goes up first. Now, what follows that is the Bitcoin Ponzi leverage. That comes in. And then that fades off and it moves straight into altcoins at the very, very end. It's just that Bitcoin maxis, what they have unfortunately done to themselves is they've convinced themselves that Ponzi Bitcoin leverage is equivalent to altcoins because they don't understand altcoins at all. Because a lot of them, dare I say, they fluked Bitcoin. Okay, they really don't even understand why Bitcoin goes up. They don't understand memes, cults, religions. They don't understand that, right? If they did understand that, they would understand that there are other cults and other religions out there in the world. That's why XRP BTC is actually starting to go up, for example, right? But in their world, that's why, friends, they're like, somebody can't possibly believe anything else because our coin is the only one. Well, they're going to learn the hard way, man. It's casino, right? They're going to learn the hard way. So that's just what happens. Who wins, though? People who just sit in Bitcoin spot. But that's why I'm showing you, bro, one of your biggest holdup is a turbo leverage, dude, brother. All right? So that liquidity and rotation risk, it hasn't started yet. But friends, like it just, the NAV, remember the net asset value, the Bitcoin on MicroStrategy's balance sheet, it used to be 3.0 at the peak, 3. Which pretty much that would mean Bitcoin's like 350K or whatever. Yeah? Now it's only down to 1.5. It went down to 1.58. No, sorry, it went down to 1.9, 1.8, 1.7, 1.6, 1.5-ish. We're ticking down. If we see this towards 1.3, 1.2, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, it's happening all over again. The money out of the Bitcoin Ponzi, we're now going to enter the actual alt season. If that happens again. I mean, it's all woo-woo magic. I don't know if it's going to repeat exactly the same. Okay? But I'm just telling you, friends, like, we're all human, man. It's like you got bored of Bitcoin because the growth rate is not as exciting as when you first got in. So now you're trying to do this obfuscation Ponzi leverage shit, but basically you've just done altcoins for Bitcoin in another way. Oh, let's go get the stock market dudes. You've made an altcoin for stock market corporation dudes. That's what it is. You're another altcoin, but no. But we're backed by Bitcoin. We're backed by Bitcoin. Doesn't matter. So watch out for this key indicator. If we hit closer to 1.2, 1.0, I can already see it, man. If I go, man, I'm just telling you right now, friends, you're going to see, look, if we do see that MicroStrategy NAV go down to 1.0 and then it goes to 0.98, right? I know what they're going to say. They're going to, oh, it's cheap now. You get to buy Bitcoin cheaper than the market price. It's free money. That's what they'll say. They go, it's free. It's free. And then if it goes down to 0.95, 0.190, they'll say, despite Bitcoin being at 220,000, it's actually still cheap. You can buy it below 200 right now. Let me show you how. And it'll just be buying MicroStrategy shares. And you might, hopefully you remember, and I'll be making videos, obviously. I'll be screaming, literally, I'll be screaming from the rooftops, and there'll be literally nobody listening from that camp. So who cares? Anyway, I do care, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to learn the hard way, you know? So, yeah. Because it's humans, man. We do the same shit, okay? You get really confident. You think you rule the world. You do some Ponzi leverage. You sprinkle some, like, over-exuberance, and you end up in the same statistical, historical textbooks as everyone else. Oh. So there you go, friends. I've given you the whole playbook of everything here for MicroStrategy actually has a stable coin, okay? Why they're trying to tap into this stuff. And you see how I've given you all the things out here, but honestly, all you needed to do was say, wait, 9% yield forever, Ponzi. That's every single time, dude. Ask Ivan on Tech. Ask anybody in this shit. We're like, what? How much yield? Ponzi. So just literally, if you go through that, fans, here's the thing, okay? 1 out of 100 of these is going to be legit. The problem is the other 99 aren't. So you're risking 100 units to make 9 every year. These things don't last years, bro. You know, they last more like months. But if you're lucky and they last even 3 years, you've risked 100 units and now you've only made 27 units. You know what I mean? That's if it lasts 3 years. 3 years, you know, we know crypto, dude, but the whole cycle's up and down by that point. So if you keep even being willing to take this shit, you're gonna get destroyed. You can't think like that, friends. That is not asymmetric, okay? That's the other skew, okay? That's not big fat ass for your rewards, okay? That's skinny pancake bum, okay? You got to flip it, okay? You're gonna be trying to risk 1. You don't want to risk 1 to make 0.1. You know, you don't want to risk 10 to make 1, same ratio. You want to risk 1 to make 10. You're looking for asymmetric upside. Okay, that's what you want to be looking at. But man, it's the same. Have you noticed? I've been showing you. It's the same stuff every time. You know, it's people recover off the bear, climb the wall of worry, and then the first big kings who are winning declare to the world, I am invincible. My coin can never go down. Ever. It's up only. This is not Ponzi yield leverage. It's a new paradigm. See? All the people who tried to challenge me in the past have been wrong. And I'll show you the chart going up. You know, it's always some sort of twisting of that over and over again. And then, that's why, friends, I'm here to just tell you, dude, you're going to get mogged. Okay? As soon as you step into the world of using other people's money, once you cross the line, it's over. Yeah? You're making promises you can't keep, man. Right? So, we're going to see. All right? So, what do you think? Okay. MicroStrategy stablecoin, huh? Stablecoin super cycle. Like, subscribe. Catch you soon.